Beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, channel, and intuitive life coach. And today I have with me the energy of a group called The Ascended, who want to share this concept about your quiet mind. This is something that a lot of people do not understand they need. When they said the quiet mind, they said this is about awakening back to your soul, awakening back to the fundamental nature of what you are as a spiritual being, as an entity. You cannot find yourself in the distractions of your mind. You can only find yourself in the stillness of your mind. And that would seem to be contradictory to some of you, believing that you have this stuff going on in your mind called thought, and that you need that to go on in order to feel like you're a human. Let us clarify your capacity to bring your mind to stillness and quiet. Your ability to do that, once properly developed, is going to put you into a very different state of knowing yourself as not just a collage of thoughts all crammed together inside your head, but it is a vast and infinite stillness, intimate and connected with literally everything that exists. And so our primary consideration today is to give you the opportunity, to go to your quiet mind right now, to understand that the thoughts that are going through the space of time that you call your mind, which is not even in the visible world, that place of mind where thoughts and memories and expectations and anticipations, where that whole illusion goes on. And to be able to say to that illusion, be still. To actually know that you could slow your thoughts down to a stop. You can literally bring your thoughts to a complete stop. And something is going to happen to you in the moment that you bring your mind to stop. Just bring it to stop. No expectation, no memory. Stop right now, the mind. If you need technique, then you might wish to use the function of your breath, which can only happen in the moment. Your breath can't happen later, and it cannot happen before, but your breath always happens right now. And you can use the breath to quiet your mind, to bring it to the stillness that will allow you to truly hear what your mind will not let you hear. That which will allow you to remember that which your mind will not let you remember. Your mind will only remember what it remembers from the experiences of your body. But your mind will not remember who you are. It remembers who everybody's told you are. And you believe who you've been told to believe you are. If you can drop that, if you can drop the idea that you are a somebody and become quiet, still, and peaceful, this is where you begin to remember what you truly need to know in order to live out your life in the proper manner for who you are. Your thoughts will still be there. Your memories will still be there. Your desires and your wishes may still be there, but you do not have to be there with them. You can be in stillness. Reacquaint yourself. Reacquaint yourself with you. You have plenty of time throughout the day to think thoughts, to remember memories, to expect and anticipate things. You have all day to do this, but for right now, bring your mind to stop and be still without thought, without expectation, without anticipation. Be still. If you are applying yourself correctly upon the mind to bring it to stillness and calm and peace, if you apply yourself correctly and you get the mind to slow down and come to a stop, you can do that with your thoughts. You can bring them to a stop and pause. You can even look between the space of each thought, or you can use the breath. If you look for the space between thoughts, as you might look for the space between the words that are being spoken, there is a quiet space between your thoughts. And as you can focus upon your thoughts, you can shift and focus upon the space between them. The mere act of doing this shifts your attention from thought to space or no thought. And in this place of space and no thought, this is where you experience you as you are. There is an energy to you that is not defined or colored or clothed in the structure of thought and memory and emotion that you are mostly living with. So in that place of stillness, quiet, this is where you begin to know yourself, no longer being defined by what others have defined you as being, no longer defined by how you think you need to be in order to fit the definitions of others. And we simply brought ourselves to this one today to give you the opportunity to consider stillness, to be in your quiet, to be in the stillness. For only a little while, you may choose to go longer into it if you wish to. We're quite confident that once you start to step into and get curious about the still mind, what you are without your thoughts defining you all the time, we're convinced that when you begin to experience yourself as you really are, well, a great deal is going to change. But if you still exist without your thoughts, then who are you that exist without your thoughts? Because most of the thoughts that you have about yourself have been provided to you from the environment. That you are tall, you are short, you are thin, you are obese, you are happy, you are sad, you are John, you are Mary. There's much that you've been told to think you are. And so if you are not thinking that you are these things and you're just being aware without yourself being identified with the thoughts, the memories, the emotions, then you'll come to the experience of being that which you are, which will allow you to evaluate change and transform the way in which your mind currently functions. You cannot change the mind from within the mind. You can change the mind from outside of it. That place of stillness, that place of quiet, that is you, can change, alter, modify thought and emotion by being. The closer you are to being in the stillness, we encourage you to do this today, to bring your mind to a stop. To bring it to a place where there is no thought. You are capable of doing this. You're capable to say to the mind, shh, be still, be still, be still. And as you articulate this level of autonomy and authority over your mind, something in you is going to wake up. And it's going to wake up in a most wondrous way. It will be like a child in a new playground. When you step outside the arena of your acquired thoughts and memories and emotions, you step outside into a new space other than the familiar space, where something new and different will be experienced by you. Just like a child being put into a new playground, when you experience for any significant period of time your still, quiet being, without referencing, I am this or I am that, I've got to this, without any of that, simply, deliberately, and articulately being stillness, resisting your attachment to thought or expectation, and being here now. We know what the inevitable outcome will be if you're truly sincere in pursuing your quiet mind, and this is the greatest opportunity for humanity at this time, as there's a great influx of energy coming in to facilitate a great movement of transcendent consciousness, individually and collectively. In the last instances of this opportunity, there were many individuals, but collectively you had to come back and repeat and replay what was occurring. And you are back to square one, so to speak, but you are here now. Bring your mind to a stop. You can do this. You can do this. You do not need something outside of you to say to the mind, be still, be still, I'm with you, I will not abandon you, be still. To look for the space between your thoughts instead of looking at your thoughts. Look for the space between your thoughts instead of looking at the thoughts, and watch what happens in you when you begin to experience what looking between the thoughts feels like. Thoughts define, stillness refines. And so moving your awareness into that place between the thoughts, moving your awareness into the breath, which is the moment. The breath can only happen in the moment. The breath cannot happen later. Thought can presume that things can happen later, but the breath happens now. Look between the space of your thoughts. Look into the space. Use your breath to keep your attention. If a thought comes to mind, move your attention to the space just after the thought and look at the space. just as equally as you can be so attached to your thinking and remembering mind, you can become equally attached to the space between those thoughts. And your being will be recognized. You'll experience yourself very differently than you do with the incessant stream of thoughts. But we wanted you to receive this in the simplest way possible. Bring your thoughts to a stop and rest in the stillness. Let yourself be in the stillness. Avoid allowing the mind to analyze how the stillness feels or what it's like. Let yourself experience the stillness and quiet of your mind so that you can get free of your mind. It will become obvious in a few days how much more important the stillness is than the thinking mind, or let us say the remembering mind, because the remembering mind doesn't do much thinking at all. But your ability to think will clarify. Your ability to think will become more clarified as you start to get more connected intimately with the stillness, which is where you live, essentially, eternally, in stillness. And that might be difficult for you to believe at this time, but it is true. All we want right now for you today is to evaluate, indulge in, seek stillness within yourself. Bring your mind to a halt. Bring your mind to no thought and allow yourself to experience yourself in no thought. And let us know what happens to you. Because something will begin to happen to you. If you've been so caught up in the incessant nature of your repetitive thinking mechanism, then you are feeling a certain way. If you are able to step outside the incessancy of the regurgitating thought machine in your mind, and you allow yourself to experience being, this does not mean that your thoughts will not have use and value to you, except that you will be able to evaluate thought very differently than from being thought. You'll find that there's much that you speak about or think about that is not really necessary. And when you remove that which is not necessary from your mind, you will have even greater peace. When you remove all the things that are not about here and now. So these two considerations about bringing yourself to that quiet mind, your quiet mind. Look at the space between all thoughts. Pause there. Just as you become attached to the thoughts, you can become attached to the space. And the being that you are attached to your thoughts is very different than the being that you are attached to the space between the thoughts. And this is the simplest thing we could consider offering you today, that you can simply begin the process of returning to who you are by bringing your mind to a stop, allowing yourself to explore the space between your thoughts, divesting yourself of thoughts for a long enough period that you can begin to experience yourself in relation to the stillness instead of in relation to the thoughts that you've been given. Now, we're not saying that there are not some very wonderful and beautiful and beneficent and constructive functions of thought, for there are. We're simply saying that there's a state of your being that cannot be fully understood if you are so attached to the ongoing mechanics of thinking in your mind. and you are attached to the mechanics of the thinking in your mind, what you already know. And it's what you do not know that is infinitely more rewarding for your consciousness than what you do know. You can only get from what you know, and you will get from what you do not know everything else. All else shall be added on to you. So going from the place of the attachment to thought and memory and emotion, expectation, desire, to this place of stillness, open, accepted, received, stillness, experienced by you, well, a whole new self will emerge. We're very excited about that. Good morning, everybody. Hi. Hello, Drusilla. Good to see you here, Don. We were just talking about you yesterday. Yeah, I love the stillness too. Good morning. Hi, Bridget. Good to see you. Good morning, TikTok. How are you? Crazy schedule stuff going on. Lots of changes. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Power of kindness. I like that. So, as I said earlier, this is a group that I have with me called the Ascended, who are very, very beautiful beings. It's a collection. It changes. It's very dynamic. Sometimes you got Jesus and Buddha and Yogananda, many others, and then that group will switch up with others. So it depends upon what it is they want to communicate, what they want to communicate to us. Hello, David. Good to see you. Hi, William. I have an ear infection and some sort of blockage in my right ear the past few days. Any guidance on the reason for this? Yes, right ear. Yeah, well, it is connected to some form of thinking, but to clear it up really quickly, David, get some 3% solution of hydrogen peroxide. I use a spray bottle. Then you spray hydrogen peroxide into the ear canal. Keep your head tilted sideways and let it fizz and bubble for a few minutes. Just keep your head sideways. Let's spray it in the right ear, because what's happening is you got to build up a pathogens in the right ear canal. Doesn't matter the source and origin. Yes, there's some thinking and some things that have been said to you that have upset you that you have not released. But that's aside from that. What you need to do is put in some hydrogen peroxide, kill those pathogens first. If you want to go into a really deep dive about what that is, book a one-on-one session with me. Go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and book a reading with me, and we'll go right down to the nitty-gritty of that, because there's a lot more to that to unpack. But just to deal with the physical symptomology, because different thoughts cultivate different physical realities. And what you've been hearing and receiving consciously and unconsciously is painful, right? It's not good for you. But the hydrogen peroxide will kill the physical elements of it, because things affect the body. Hydrogen peroxide will kill the pathogens before they get into your throat and sinuses. So do that right away. And then do the other ear. Do both ears, not just one ear. Do both ears with the hydrogen peroxide. My wife uses Q-tips. She just saturates Q-tips in hydrogen peroxide and puts them in her ears, and let them sit there for a little while. But I like the spray. Use the spray, David. Hi. Good morning, Con. Good to see you. Question from through. My older came back from emergency. She's okay now. Any insights? Thank you. I'm not sure. I can just tell you this. Releasing all fear ameliorates so much unnecessary suffering. They want me to tell you that. Releasing all fear will eliminate much unnecessary suffering. Not only for yourself, but for those that you are caring for. To be in a state of gratitude and grace allows very different and fortuitous things to occur. Right? They'll be okay. Have no fear. Floating around the kitchen. I love that. Hi. Thank you so much for the badges and the poking. I appreciate that. That's odd, David. I have the same problem with my right ear. Again, the same is true for you. When you hear things, either from people around you in the present moment, or your mind, your unconscious mind is remembering things that you heard that are very painful, they will affect physiology. Things affect the body, thoughts affect the mind, acts affect the soul. Right? But thought will generate an emotional current that will change the body. Same idea, though. put in first. You want to deal with the symptoms, because little children often get ear and nose and throat infections, not because there's something wrong with them, but because their environments are often very toxic, or they have a lot of negative energy going on from the input of information, whether it's from television, um, family members. The input we put out to other people can affect them, right? Hi. Hi there. Thank you for that so much for that badge. Appreciate it. Very kind of you. Yeah, it's not a big uh, question from Mass Island. Oh, Mass Leyland. My oldest son has some psychological problems. Can you give some advice from spirit realm? Again, very important, especially there's so much information, but again, I got a whole flood of information coming in. Again, I highly recommend that you teach him to sit and breathe and relax. Teach him to teach his mind and body to be still and quiet and peaceful. This is the greatest skill that parents could teach their children, to teach them how to bring their body and their mind to stillness. So your son needs to learn this skill. He needs to learn stillness. He needs to learn this. It's not a difficult or complex process. Again, if you want to have him book a session with me, have him do that, because in half an hour, he can be completely liberated from a lot of unnecessary emotional energies that he's dealing with right now, right? Keep that in mind. Stillness. Remember, stillness, what they said earlier, again, I'm going to be paraphrasing, but what the Ascended said earlier, look between the thoughts that you're having and find the space between your thoughts. Let your attention go to the space between your thoughts, and you're going to fall into stillness. And in that stillness, as you focus upon the space between your thoughts and not the thoughts, you move into a different state of being. Because thought is one state of being, no thought is a different state of being. But you cannot know one from the other. You have to know it from within itself. So it's very important you sit down, quiet the mind, calm the body, and go between your thoughts and remain between the thoughts and allow yourself to experience what happens to you between the thoughts. You can use the breath as an instrument to, again, if the person's got a restless body, get them to use the breath of the body and allow the body to relax. Teach them how to relax their body. It's not a very complex or difficult process. Teach them to relax their body. Very exciting. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that super chat, David. Really appreciate it. Hi, hi there. Thank you so much for liking the live. Remember, like, subscribe, share, follow, whatever it is that you can do to support this channel, get this information out to more people. Be very, very, very wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Wonderful. So remember that if you're here today, and there's not a lot of people here today, you're here to understand the power of your being when it's not defined by your thoughts, when you're no longer clothed in the illusion of your thoughts and you experience yourself as that which is independent of thought. Your sense of personal power and your capacity to influence your world changes significantly. So bringing your mind to a stop and just paying attention to the stillness, to relinquish the thoughts, to find the space between them, and then you'll begin to move towards peace. Real peace. Not the peace. It's nice to go out into a forest and experience the peace of a forest. That's a beautiful thing. but to experience peace as something that's fundamentally natural to what you are as a spiritual being, that peace and love is what you are. Peace and love, that is your true nature. Your thoughts define you as a human personality. That can be a wonderful thing too. But your thoughts are only for the personality. And you can change your thoughts and modify them and alter them. You can do that if you wish to. Do that if you wish to. Hi, May. Good morning. My younger sister had just came back from emergency room. She had intense headache and high blood pressure. Please give us some insight on her health. Yeah, there's a large shift happening energetically on the planet today. There's like a lot of energy coming in from the sun. A huge energy wave coming in for the sun that affects us. I highly encourage you, okay? Take your younger sister outside, take her socks and shoes off, and get her to put her feet on the ground and just stand on the grass. And tell her to pay attention to what happens between her feet and the earth. That will give her immediate balance and relief in about 30 seconds. The other thing you can do is I highly encourage you to tell her to book a session with me and have an experience that will certainly bring in a lot more information as to why this happened. Right? Because we don't want to get into discussing too much in public. Thank you, Priscilla, for saying that. When will we move into a new house, or will we build? Tina, if I tune into your energy, I'm feeling stronger that your joy will come from the manifestation of the house as an exercise of your own effort. That you're in a position to do that. Yes. Yeah, they're saying that this would be really beneficial for you. The project will give everybody a different meaning and value about not only who they are, but about what they're doing. Right? Yeah, they're telling me that if you just buy a house, you're buying a very different energy. But I'm getting the energy from them that you'd be better off to build it on your own. Oh, you're very welcome, May. So many things can be corrected in your body. So many things can be corrected in your body just by putting your bare feet on the grass. I kid you not. Bring a chair outside in your backyard, sit down, take your socks and shoes off if you need something to support you, then sit in your chair, put your feet on the ground, and just let yourself feel what happens between your feet and the earth. What's happening there? Because what will happen is the electromagnetic field of your body will get balanced out, recalibrated by the energy of the earth. Right? You ever done a study called it's where they can use copper pipes to use the energy of the earth to grow bigger gardens. Something culture, electroculture. So with electroculture, you use the energy of the earth through copper pipes, and you can create a passive field from both the earth and the air around. The copper allows for greater conductivity between the two, and your garden will grow better. But anybody who puts their bare feet on the ground will go through a process of recalibration. Your body will be recalibrated by the energetic transference that happens between your body and the earth. If you're electron deficient, the earth will balance that out. If you're electron abundant, the earth will balance you out, right? Like Drusilla said in the comments here, you can even put your hands on a tree and let the energy of the earth ground your body. Yeah, very important. Take your sister outside and do that. Question from Vertical. My Italian friend knows no will, no claim, upcoming inheritance. How can she emotionally protect herself from being consistently, aggressively belittled by siblings? Yeah, very simple. Let go of her attachment to expecting anything. Might be hard, especially if you're in a deep place of need and want. Tell her to let go of her attachment to anything. It's what she might need to do right now. but also to surround herself with the idea that only love comes into her life, only love leaves her life, only love enters her space, only love leaves her space. You have a choice there. Uh, the last month I've been, sorry, the last month I've been praying, grounding, and listening, but I have no energy to do anything. Why? Um, Let me see. Yeah, okay. What I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to go outside, put your feet on the ground, okay? Bend your knees slightly, and then I want you to turn your awareness to the sun. So your bare feet will be on the ground, and then you turn your face to the sun and form a connection between the sun, your face, and the earth. So you're going to receive the sun from the face, and you're going to receive some of the energy from the earth through the feet, and allow these two energies to recalibrate your body, the earth and the sun. The sun provides all the energy the whole planet needs to live. Think about that. The sun provides all the energy that everything needs to live on this earth. And if you're deficient in certain functions of energy, you're going to be challenged. But I'm also being told to tell you, drink more water today. You'll find that will be very, very useful for you to drink more water today. But connect to the earth and the sun at the same time. That's what you're missing. You're missing the sun. Yeah. Great question, by the way. Hi, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Yeah, we got a lot of people that just sit on the outsides and watch. Questions. Question: the war between Russia and Ukraine, will it escalate to Europe? The first words I heard: only if it will serve the agenda for those who believe that power is what power you have over human beings and not a power in alignment with the divine. Yes, if they believe that they can get more power, of course, which they will not. They will do that, but this is not going to happen. It will not be permitted. Understand that everything that is happening on the planet right now is because of this transformation, this level of ascension that we're going through as a species. Every certain period of time, we get this massive inflow of energy to the planet. We call it ascension energy. And whatever you're holding in your heart, wherever you are on the planet, rich or poor, happy or sad, mother or father, sister or brother, does not matter. Every single living soul on this planet is receiving energy. We call it ascension energy. That energy is going to amplify what you harbor in your heart and in your mind the most. If you're angry, if you're sad, if you're afraid, then that is going to be amplified. If you're joyful and excited and playful, then that will be amplified. So the dominant energies that people are holding in their own subconscious mind is being amplified right now. Why do you see a lot of people doing crazy shit? Why the hell do they do that? Because something they were holding in their heart that was negative received this energy, was amplified, and an expression came out. It just came out of nowhere, and people say, I don't even know why they did it. The reason it happens is because they're not aware that the function of energy interact with them and the behavior is stimulated into action. A lot of people don't understand that the sun affects our consciousness all the time, as does the earth. Not so much, but more so the sun recently. But yeah, don't get too concerned about it. Yeah. Here's a good question. Is there an inner earth world under the Giza pyramids, like Agartha? There are cities under the surface of the earth. There are literally micro worlds under the crust of the earth in certain places. There have been cities that have been built by humans under the earth. There have been continents that have literally risen up and continents that have collapsed in a matter of days. Things like that have happened on this planet. But yes, there are inner civilizations, most of which are nothing but dust now. But there are civilizations that modern men have made that are under the earth that are quite elaborate, actually. Uh, yeah, the war in Russia and Ukraine is going to end soon. For those that want to know, and it's going to end because of what's happening in our collective unconscious. We're shifting human collective unconsciousness from fear to love. Because our human collective consciousness over the last, 1,000 years has mostly been caught up in fear, judgment, anger, wars, destructiveness. Right? It's been like that way for about 1,000 years. Now we're going to shift it from fear to love. That's happening right now. It's the only way we'll prevent an unfortunate set of circumstances for humanity. Science keeps thinking this global change there's a process right now of the magnetic poles flipping, that it's a thing that happens every 12,500 years. It only happens every 12,500 years because that's where humanity keeps getting stuck. We get to a certain point of our evolution, and we go dark instead of light. So there's a reset. Different emotional qualities affect matter, time, and space differently. That's why when somebody's filled with joy and you're around them, you feel good. When somebody is angry and upset, you're around you don't feel good. Planet reacts and responds. The sun reacts and responds to our human collective unconsciousness. And if we're predominantly excited and joyful, like Atlantis for most of its existence was a beautiful, wondrous, evolving. I mean, the involvement of wanting to know the divinity in oneself was widely accepted as natural and normal. There's only a few individuals that got really corrupt and lost in the sensation of the senses that Atlantis then went sideways. But it thrived for many, many thousands of years. Quite amazing. I was wondering, is there a way I'm supposed to be happy to try doing a class action after almost 7 years? Um, well, the happiness is a choice. It literally is a choice. If you're going to do something like that, then do so with the understanding that you're going to do it for the benefit of all parties involved. All parties involved. You'll find a big difference in what happens. Thank you so much. Let's see what we got over here on TikTok. Yeah, I think we're good. I want to say thank you to the Ascendant for being present with us today. I want to thank all of you for coming out. And exciting times coming. Get ready. The next 4 weeks can prove very interesting on planet Earth. And remember, learn to quiet your mind and experience what you are when your mind is not tugging at you all the time. Learn to experience your quiet mind so that you can know truly just how incredible and remarkable you are. I want to wish you all much love. I'll look forward to seeing you guys on the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts to Your Soul. Bye for now.